ولا الضالين وإن تستفتحوا فقد جاءكم الفتح نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل والله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amen. Shukran, Imam C. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Great God of nation, you who have created all humankind in your image, in your likeness, and in your goodness. And you who have put your spirit in all human beings and have ordered and commanded every human being to love you with all their heart, with all their soul, and with all their mind, and with all their strength, and to love their neighbors as themselves. We ask that this command will find place in the inner recesses of the hearts of all humankind throughout the whole world, so that the world will begin to be ruled and ordered by the fear and love of God, so that things will augur well for everybody throughout the whole world. And we continue to bring our TRRC sittings before you. We ask that you continue to protect and to defend and to uphold justice, truth, fair play for all. And we ask that those who will come here will speak the truth boldly, and that the Commission will have the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. And at the end of the day, we ask that the due process of the law will take its course to the full satisfaction and benefit of all. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Chairman Bishop Odeko. Council, are we ready with this morning's witness? If so, please proceed now.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and members of the audience. We are ready to start, and Ms. Maria Masingate would lead the witness. In the meantime, may I announce to the public that we are experiencing some technical difficulties in the broadcast this morning. So for those of you who intend to watch the proceedings, can watch it from GRTS, Kerfatu, iAfrica TV, and other online media. Unfortunately, QTV is experiencing some difficulties. So for those who intended to watch from QTV, you can probably switch to any of the other networks I have just indicated. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and over to you, Mariam.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Osha, can you please help us bring the witness in?
I, Ali Ceesay,
I, Ali Ceesay,
do swear that
do swear that
I, Ali Ceesay,
Man Ali Ceesay,
I, Ali Ceesay,
Man Ali Ceesay,
man Ali Ceesay,
do swear that
maa ngi waat ne
maa ngi waat ne
I'll speak the truth,
dinaa wax dëgga
dinaa wax dëgg
the whole truth,
dëgga bi yépp
dëgg bi yëpp
and nothing but the truth.
duma fi wax leneen lu dul dëgga
and not dinaa fa wax dara lu dul dëgg
So help me God.
kon yàlla dimbale ma
kon yàlla dimbale ma.
Good morning, Mr. Ceesay. I can see that you're struggling a bit with the Wolof. Probably because of your last name, they assumed that you were Wolof. Interpreter in Mandinka, can you please help us?
Yes, okay.
Excuse me. Let us have interpretation in Mandinka. You prefer to speak in Mandinka, correct? No, Wolof. Is your Wolof good enough? You seem to have been struggling in making the oath in Wolof. Okay. Dégg nga Wolof bu baax. Xam nga waat gi nga waat lum tekki. Lan la tekki. D'accord.
Thank you very much. We'll proceed in Wolof then. Good morning, Mr. Witness, and welcome to the TRRC.
seede bi ñu ngi laa nuyu di la dalal ci TRRC.
As you already know, my name is Mariama Singate,
comme ni nga ko xamee ba pare maa ngi tudda Mariama Ceesay
and I will be leading you on behalf of the Commission today.
te man maay ki nga xam ne maa laa gunge ci turi commission bi tey.
Your testimony today will cover the first session.
li nga xam ne mooy seede yi nga fee war a joxe dina ëmba fànn bu njëkk bi tey ci suba si.
So we have very limited time.
ndaxte amun waxtu bu bari torop.
So I request that you shorten your answers
bon nag dama sàkku ci yow rek duñ la laaj booy tontu nga gàttal ko.
so that the interpreter will follow.
bu ko defee làppatoo bi mun cee toppa.
And so that we can make best use of the time we have.
ndax waxtu wu ndaw wiñ am ñu mun koo jëriñoo.
If you do not understand any question put to you,
lu ma la laaj nag te leerut la.
please do ask me to clarify and I will do so.
laaj ma baamtuwaat ko.
For today,
tey nag
I'll propose that we discuss a few topics.
liñ leen fas yéene waxtaanee si mooy yii.
I'll ask you a bit of questions into your background so that the Commission will get to know who you are.
dinaa la laaj tuuti rek ci sa mbir ndax commission bi mun a xam yow yaay kan.
The general conditions of the prisons at the time you were there.
jamono ji nga xam ne yaa ngee liggéey ci kaso bi ñu xam naka la kaso bi meloon jamono boobu.
The treatment of prisoners and prison officers.
ni nga xam ne noonu la fa prisoner yi ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo faa liggéey nekkee woon.
The activities of the NIA and the junglers with respect to the prisons.
NIA ak jongula yëngu yi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon def foofu ci kaso bi.
We'll also deal with the theft of food rations at the prisons.
dinañ fa waxtaanee it lu aju ci sàcc yi nga xam ne ñu ngi koo sàcc dundu. ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci kaso bi.
Lastly, we'll talk about your dismissal from prisons.
bu ñoo jeexal nag dinañ waxtaanee dàqa biñ la dàqa foofu ci sa liggéey bi.
So these are the topics that I'll propose we discuss today.
yii rek mooy yenn ci yi nga xam ne moom lañ war a waxtaanee.
Can you please tell us your name?
dig ñu mun a wax sa tur.
man maa ngi tudd Ali Ceesay.
My name is Ali Ceesay.
When and where were you born?
fan ak kañ nga juddu.
man maa ngi juddoo Kër Ardo Badibu.
I was born at Ker Ardo in Badibu.
1970 June 15.
June 15, 1970.
Can you please give us a brief background of your education?
dig ñu mun a wax ci lu gàtt rek fan nga jaar ci sa wàlli njàng.
man maa ngi starté suma primary school Njawara Primary School.
I started my schooling at Njawara Primary School.
Then Manyo in 1979 to 84.
1979 to 1984.
Then them Kerewan in 1984 by 1988.
I went to Kerewan from 1984 until 1988.
Ovola Jehale 88 1st November I joined Gambia Prison Service.
I ended my schooling in 1988. So 1st of November, I joined the prison services 1988.
Can you tell us which school you attended in Kerewan?
Ban school nga jàngee ca Kerewan?
Kerewan Secondary School.
Kerewan Secondary School.
So after completion of your secondary school, you joined the prison services?
Bi nga jeexalee sa secondary school, ci nga dugga nag ci liggéey prison bi?
Waaw, ci laa dugga ci liggéey.
Yes, that's when I enrolled into the prison services.
Can you tell us the conditions of the prisons at the time you enrolled?
Jamono bi nga fa door di liggéey nag ñu mun a wax naka la prison bi meloon?
Prisons moom bi ma fa join 1988 def nañ suñ training in Joshua.
When I was joining the prison services in 1988, we did our initial training at Joswang.
From November to March.
From November to March.
1989.
1989.
Actually, my question was the conditions of prisons at the time you joined.
Li ma la laaj mooy kaso bi naka la meloon jamono ji nga xam ne ci nga fa door di liggéey.
Kaso bi time boobu prisoner yi kii wuñ bari wuñ woon noonu de because rôle yi mu ngi doon nekk ay 200 and something prisoners.
At that time,
300 du ko doon di passé.
At that time, there were not many prisoners in there as inmates, because it was between 300. If maximum, it will be around 300, from 200 to 300.
What categories of prisoners did you have at that time?
Jamono bobu yan façon prisoner mom ngeen fa amone?
Time bobu ñu ngi am convict prisoners ak remand prisoners.
At that time you have two categories: convict prisoners and remand prisoners.
And where were the remand prisoners kept at that time?
Ñi nga xamne mom nga oyé remand prisoners bobu jamono fan lañ leen doon denca?
Ñom ñu ngi leen doon di denca remand wing.
They were kept. All remand prisoners were taken to the remand wing.
How about the convicted prisoners?
Ñi nga xamne nak dañ leen atté ba paré dañ leen wara tëj ñu diko wax convict ñom fan lañ daan nekk?
Convict prisoners ñu ngi leen doon tëj ci main yard bi ak security wing.
The convict prisoners are taken mainly to the main yard, and some are taken to the security wing.
How was the food at prisons during those days?
Jamono bobu lekka bi naka la meloon fofu?
Lekka bi time bobu man bàyyiwuma ko woon xel bu baax de waaye dégguma woon benn complaint daal ci affaire yi lekka bi time bobu moom.
At that time, I didn't mind much about what was being cooked in the prisons. But, well, I didn't hear a lot of complaints about the food at that time.
Can you please give us a brief summary of your career progression in prisons?
Ding ñu mëna ci tënk rek waxal ñu ci sa wàlli liggéey fan nga jaar ci liggéey kaso bi foofu.
Okay, man biñ pass out dama nekkoon first shift di dem morning, afternoon, night.
When we passed out, we started a shift, morning, afternoon, and night.
After 1 year, ñu yóbbuma main shift, general work.
After 1 year, I was taken to the main shift where we do general duties.
Kindly give us, if any, your promotions within prisons at the time you start till the time you were dismissed.
Dañ bëgg xam rek sa wàlli promotion sa wàlli maxaamay naka lañ toppalante jamono ji nga fa nekk ba ba nga fa bàyyi.
1993 la am couple rank.
I had my couple rank in 1993.
97 sergeant.
1997 I got the rank of a sergeant.
1998 PO, my principal officer.
I became the principal officer or PO in 1998.
2003 SPO, senior principal.
I became a senior principal officer in 2003.
ASP 2004.
Yeah, I became an ASP in 2004.
Superintendent 2006.
I became a superintendent in 2006.
Chief Superintendent 2008.
I became a chief superintendent in 2008.
The Commissioner 2010.
I became a commissioner in 2010.
Small promotion, but
Well, at that time, I was going to court when I got that promotion in 2010.
When you were principal officer, can you tell us where you were working within prisons? That was in 1998.
Ci atum 1998 jamono joju yaangi nekkon principal officer fofu ci kasso bi di ñu mëna wax ci ban fan nga nekkon di fa liggéey fofu.
Time bobu mang ci wañ bi.
At that time, I was at the kitchen.
What was your role in the kitchen?
Lan nga daan def ci wañ bi?
Supervisor la won fofu ci prisoner.
I was a supervisor over the prisoners at that time at the kitchen.
In 2003, when you were senior principal officer, can you tell us which department you worked in?
Atum 2002 jamono joju yaangi nekkon senior principal officer di ñu mëna wax fan nga doon liggéey ban fan.
Bobu tam ma ngi nekkon ci discipline time bobu the assist chief Fall.
I was at the disciplinary section and I was aiding Chief Fall when he was ahead of me.
How about in 2006 when you were a superintendent?
Naka nak atum 2006 jamono joju yaangi nekkon superintendent.
2006 after be ma joge leave still lañ ma yobbu won security wing.
2006, I was on leave, but when I returned from leave, I was taken to the security wing.
My apologies, I missed 2004. You were an ASP then. Where were you?
2004, bobu ASP nga won fo nekkon.
Bobu ma ngi won ci wañ bi.
That time, I was at the kitchen.
What of in 2008 when you were chief superintendent?
2008 nak bi nga nekké chief superintendent.
2008 ma nekké chief superintendent after la Useno travel ma nekk acting acting operation.
In 2008, when Usainu traveled, I became...
Sorry. 2008, still, Montam Fana Manko Defsi discipline that.
2008, I was still at the disciplinary section.
When did you assume the role of acting operations?
Kañ nga jël place acting operation?
2010 April, May.
2010, in April and May, that was the time when I became the acting operations officer.
So you do know the prisons very well from the roles that you played throughout your career.
Bon mel na ni xam nga kaso bi bu baax de ci liggéey yi ni mu doon demee ci yow.
Xam naa fa lu bari kay.
Yes, I know a lot about the prisons.
We have received some evidence about the conditions of prisons at that time. So I'd like to ask you about certain conditions with respect to the roles that you had at the time you were at prisons.
Amna ay ñu ci bari ñu fi joxe seen seede nag wax nañ ñu anam bi nga xam ne noonu la kaso bi nekkee woon léegi nag man tam dama la bëgg a laaj yow li nga nekkoon sa taxawaay jamono ji nga xamee ne yaa ngi amee woon place yi nii.
When you were at the kitchen,
bi nga nekkee ci waañ bi,
can you tell us what the food was like?
Di ñu mun a wax naka la lekka bi meloon.
Okay, lekka bi am na boor boo xam ne ni baaxoon na waaye am na boor boo xam ne ni moom baaxul.
As for the food, there was one side where I can say the food was good, but there was another side where I can say that the food was bad.
Please explain.
Waxal ñu naka la.
Okay, high protein diet bi moom baaxoon na.
The high protein diet was very good.
Wante general diet bi moom moo doon problème bi.
The problem was with the general diet.
Lu cause loolu high protein diet dañ ko doon génnee si general diet bi time boobu ñu ne menu bi amut high protein diet.
At that time, the menu didn't have high protein diet, but the high protein diet was taken from the general diet.
Suñ supply general diet bi ba pare si boobu lañ dee génne toggal fa high protein.
When the supply comes for the general diet, that's where they take out the high protein diet, and afterwards they were cooked.
Who were the people that were given this high protein diet?
Façon yi lekk bi nga wax high protein diet bi mooy tooga yi nga xam ne dafa am ñoo leen ko doon jagleel ñan ngeen ko daan jox.
High protein diet dafa nekk doctor's recommendation.
The high protein diet is based on the doctor's recommendation.
Boo xam ne ni dafa feebar.
Somebody who is sick.
waaye dem na to an extent boo xam ne ni sax koo xam ne ni mun naa lobby rek dañ ko doon di jox.
Well, it went up to an extent whereby anybody who can lobby, they will give him or her high protein diet.
And how will an inmate lobby for a high protein diet?
Nit ki nga xam ne nag ñu ngi ko tëj foofu ci kaso bi moom naka laa dugalante pour am façon ñam bi high protein diet bi nga wax ni.
va dem si docteur yi wane leen la man lii ak lii ay feebaram daal wala ay feebaram docteur bindal ko high protein diet.
The individuals used to go to the doctors and try to explain to them the type of sicknesses they would like the doctor to help them with. So based on that, the doctors will write a recommendation for them so that they can get the high protein diet.
So in essence, the high protein diet was a coveted diet among prisoners.
Loolu nga xam ne nag mooy li nga wax high protein diet bi dafa nekk loo xam ne dañ ko daan tànnal ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci kaso bi.
waaw dañ ko daan tànn am na ñoo xam ne dañ leen ko dee recommend ñoom ñoo ko doon di am.
Yes, it has been recommended for some people who are said to be sick, but some people also lobby for it.
You were at the kitchen from 1998 to 2008.
yaa ngi woon ci waañ bi diggante atum 1998 ba 2008.
mun naa wax ne dugg naa si waañ bi sax well before that because waañ bi 1993 dama daan assist ku fa nekkoon ñu ngi ko doon wax Mansali Camara.
I can say that I started at the kitchen long before that because in 2003 I used to go and help somebody who was working there called Mansali Camara.
Can you tell us how the food rations from prisons are obtained?
Dundu bi nga xam ne moom lañ daan indi foofu ci kaso bi ndax duñ ñu mun a wax naka lañ ko daan amee.
waaw si stores mu ngi fa ñoom ñoo responsible affaire ration bi.
We have a store there. The stores are also they are responsible for the rations.
ñoom ñoo de supply ration bi si waañ bi.
They are the people at the store are responsible for supplying the kitchen with the rations.
And waañ bi ration boobu la ñoo jël ñu togga ko.
And people in the kitchen will take that ration and cook it for the inmates.
Was that ration given to the kitchen, was it sufficient for the cooking?
Dundu boobu nga xam ne nag moom lañ daan jëlee ci store bi di ko joxe ci waañ wi ndax daan na doy pour togga bi.
su nekkee ne amu doon benn order kii xaaj comme lu mel ni high protein boobu lekk bi daf doon kii waaye bi nga xam ne ni high protein bi am na doole foofu daal wàññi na lu bari ci togga bi.
Well, at that time, when there was not recommendation for high protein diets, the food was adequate. But when there are a lot of recommendations for these high protein diets, that's the time when the food became inadequate for the inmates.
Well, Mr. Witness, we've received evidence from the inmates themselves that even the high protein diet was not even up to standard.
am nañ fi ñoo xam ne nag ñu ngi tëddoo ci kaso bi ñoom ci seen boppa wax nañ ne ñam bi nga xam ne sax moom lañ foog ne moo am liñ soxla yépp pour baax ci lekk nit ki muy high protein diet bi ñoom sax wax nañ ne ba léegi sax taxut ñam bi lekka bi baax.
I'd like to ask you a personal question there.
dama la bëgg a laaj boo xam ne dama ko jëmale ci yow ci sa boppa.
Would you personally be satisfied eating the high protein diet?
yow mii ci sa boppa lekka bi ngeen di ooyee high protein diet ndax yow boo ko lekkee doy na la mu doon lekka gu baax ci yow.
man fu ma toog ne suma bàmmeel laa toog high protein diet moom amu doon lekka bu ko gën foofu si kaso bi.
Well, I am sitting, where I am sitting, I can say I am sitting at the mouth of my grave. But at that time, the high protein diet was very good.
Was good for the prisons. That's what I heard.
Yeah, for the mune puru ñi nekk ci biir kaso bi baaxoon na pour ñooñu ndax baaxoon na pour ñëpp.
donc boobu moom baax na it's a standard food.
Well, it's a standard
because
food.
Of lu nga xam ne the best part of the food boobu lañ dee jël ñu togg ko xam muy high protein.
It's good for everybody because the best part of the food is what they take and cook it as the high protein diet.
So in essence, according to prison standard, with respect to the other diet, it was okay.
bon dafa mel ni lu tolloo ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ tëj ci kaso bi soo ko méngalee ak yeneen façon yi lekka yi bon baax na.
But if you measure it up to what is eaten daily outside, then it was not okay.
waaye nag boo ko méngalee ak lekka bi nga xam ne moom la ñoo lekka ci biti bon baaxut.
waaw xam nga président ñaata inmates ñoo fa nekk togga bu mag la.
Well, the amount of inmates in the prison, if you check that, then it is a big thing to cook for them.
léegi su nekkee ne da nga ne bëgga mu nekk standard lu nga fa war a spend dëgga loolu waxuma high protein bi de waaye general diet bi nekku fa woon moom.
I'm not talking about the high protein, but for the general diet, what is cooked for them, then it's not adequate for what is prepared for them in terms of the food.
So you're telling us that the food that was given to the prison cooks to cook was not adequate for the prisoners?
mel ni da nga bëgg a wax ne liñ daan jox toggakat yi foofu ci kaso bi doyut pour ñi nga xam ne ñoo fa tëdda.
waaw bu nekkee ne inside of the general diet because of luñ fa dee génnee di yokkase high protein diet.
Yes, that's because what they take from the general diet to prepare the high protein food that makes the general diet inadequate for the prisoners.
In fact, we've also received evidence that the inadequacy of the food was also as a result of the theft of food rations that was happening in prisons itself.
da xam sax day am nañu fi joxe seen seede ñu ne boo gisee dundu lekk bi doyul mooy sàcc gi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon sàcc dundu yi foofu noonu.
sàcc boobu moom man duma mun a weddi.
Well, I cannot deny the theft.
because ku si nekk ak jikkoom la.
Because everybody has his or her own habits.
wante luñ dee assisé waañ bi xam naa ne doyut doy boo xam ne ni nit dina ko war a mun a jëlaat ne yaa ngi ko jéem a sàcca.
Because what is brought to the kitchen is not enough for somebody also to come and take part of that and take it away.
waaye nit su ne la gis naa diw mu ngi sàcca yow mënuloo ko weddi xañ na yow nekkuloo fa woon also.
Because if somebody tells you that I have seen somebody stealing that food, you cannot deny it because you were not there.
During that time, did you hear rumors of theft of food rations?
jamono jang fa nekk ndax daan nga dégg ay wax yoo xam ne ñu ngi laa wax ne dañoo sàcc lekk yi fa nekk dundu bi.
foofu man de kenn mësut ma approach te si télé laa nekk di wax de foog naa aduna bi mu ngi maa dégg wante amut kenn ku ma mos a taxaw mu ne ma diw sàcc nañ mu ngi sàcc ration bi and like.
Well, I am facing the TV now and I'm talking to the world. But during my time there, nobody has ever approached me to tell me that I have seen so and so stealing rations from the prison.
The question was, have you ever heard?
Limala laaj moy ndax mus nga dégg ne ñu ngi sàcc
of rumors of theft of food rations.
Wala ñu ngi nekk di waxantu daal ne dañ sàcc dundu gi foofu noonu.
Fi moom dégg naa ñu ngi koo wax.
Yes, I've heard this being discussed there.
And wouldn't you think that if the food rations were being stolen, wouldn't you think that that was as a result of the insufficient food that was being given to the cooks to cook for prisoners?
Fogulone su fekkon ne ñu ngi sàcc dundu bi loolu moo waral ñàkk lekk bu doy bi pour ñi nga xam ne ñoo tëdd foofu ci kaso bi.
Waaye boo seetee affaire bi Josuwang ak Mile 2 yëpp lañ doon supply.
If you look at it properly, they were taking supplies to both Josuwang and Mile 2.
Okay, Josuwang ñu ngi jëlee supply Mile 2.
Josuwang takes its supply from Mile 2.
Kon na nga jëlee boy ration bu ñoo jëlee Mile 2 yóbbu ko Josuwang.
The ration that's taken from Mile 2 to Josuwang,
boobu foog naa moo gën a yomba pour sàcca daan bu nga xam ne ni ñu ngi ko supply si store bi mu direct si waañ bi prisoner yi ñoo buñ ko nattee foofu prisoner yi seen boppa ñoom ñooy dem jël ko ak with escort ñëw si waañ bi.
I think it will be easier to steal from the ration which is taken from Mile 2 to Josuwang, because that one is taken out and they take it to Josuwang. But I think it will be more difficult to steal rations from Mile 2, because that one, when it is measured from the stores, it is the prisoners themselves who take these rations from the stores to the kitchen, and they do it on the escort.
The question was, won't that cause the food ration to be limited if there are people stealing the food?
Lima la laaj mooy fooguloo ne loolu moo tax dundu bi doyut bu fekkee ne dañ koy nekk ay sàcca.
waaw su nekkee ne am na.
Yes, if the stealing is existing there, yeah, there will not, it will not be enough.
Well, both prison officers and prisoners testified before this commission that there was indeed a theft. There was indeed theft that was occurring at Mile 2 during those days.
ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ tëj ci kaso bi ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo faa liggéey ñoom ñëpp joxe nañ fi seen seede te li ñu wax mooy ne waaw dëgg la amoon na càcc goo xam ne mu ngi doon am ci wàlli dund yi foofu.
wante ndax jàpp nañ kenn ñu ne kii moo doon di sàcc wala nag wala lan.
But was it pointed out that they even once, did they catch anybody doing that stealing?
Mr. Witness, I'm the one asking the questions here. The thing is, if there was no interest to investigate these issues, then they wouldn't have caught anyone doing it.
Chacha gogu fa don am ña fa nek amuñ itte sax pour def ci ben gestu bon duñ japp ken di
wa fa la su loy def itte lañ la wane la diw mu ngi def li ma pour na ma or yalla ne suñ ma waxe ne ma diw mo def li war na mëna jog man tamit ma def suma liggéey.
The interest arises to investigate when a report comes by, but if there is no report, I don't think this interest to investigate will arise up, because, well, as I said, if nobody informs us that theft is being done, then there will be no investigation.
Then, in the case where it is reported, who will be responsible to investigate?
Legi nak bu fekkee ne càcc gi boole nañ ko warugali kan la pour mu def gëstu bi.
Okay, fofu chief office bi mu ngi fa.
The chief officer is there.
Mom.
My apologies. Who was in charge of the chief office?
Kan mo nekkon fofu ci chief office bi nga wax ni.
Chief office bi dañ ko dé ko xamné ni promote nañ la di rank of a chief ñu select kenn mu nekk fofu nekkul ne dafa am ko xamné ni dafa nekk permanent.
Well, there is nobody permanently seated there. Well, anybody who has been promoted to chief officer, they look among those people, and one of them will be acting inside the office there as chief officer.
Go on.
Egali.
Okay. Lolu su hapone amna ñu dem ne SPO ci PO yi ñom tamit ñu ngi ci suuf complaint bi bu excès ci ñooñu ñom dinañ launch investigation su nekkee ne gis nañ ne mënuñ ci dara tam dinañ ko forward to the chief chief bi su fa mënul dara then nañ ko forward to the operation.
Well, the thing is like it's a chain of command. You have the chief at the top in the office there, then you have the SPO and the POs. But if a report comes, well, the POs and the SPOs, it is their responsible to check. Well, after their investigation, if nothing comes out of it, then they'll come to the chief. And if the chief is unable still to solve the problem, then they will forward it to the operations office.
And you will agree with me that during those days, there was not much investigation done at Mile 2 with respect to issues that inmates were complaining about.
Bon suma waxe li di nga anda man ne tawat bi nga xamne ñi tëdd ci kasso bi ñu ko daan tawat jamono joju amutoon kenn ko xamne amon na itte pour di ci def ay gëstu.
Tawat bi bu nekké ne exina ci officier yi war door nañ ko mëna def because I could remember ne amna ben complaint buñ joxone chief officer time in Ndoye Dabo.
Well, when a complaint comes, the people responsible will usually carry out the investigation because I remember once a complaint came to the office there during the time of Ndoye Dabo.
Amna yenn visitor yu fa ñewon visit ben prisoner buñ doon wax Demba Gassama.
Some visitors came there to visit somebody called Demba Gassama who was an inmate.
ñooñu ñëwoon nañ visit si ko wala dañ ko joxoon xaalis officier boobu nangu xaalis bi si loxo président bi ba pare wala jëmoon na sonal daal visitors yi.
Well, what happened was that when the visitors came, they gave some money to this Demba Gassama. So I think, I'm not sure whether the officer took the money from the inmate, but later on it created some problems there. The officer took the money from the prisoner.
Okay.
In fact, it created a problem for the visitors who came to visit the inmate.
Prisoner Bobu later reported Ndoye Dabo. Why Ndoye Dabo took action against that officer?
Well, the prisoner later reported the matter to Ndoye Dabo, but Ndoye Dabo took action against the officer who took the money.
Officer Bobu Sergeant Lawon demon nañ ko to third class officer private.
Well, the officer at that time was a sergeant, but he was demoted to third class, which was a private position. I can remember that.
Well, that was a good thing that the chief officer did. Going back to the conditions of Mile 2 at that time. Inmates have also testified that as a result of the poor diet being fed to them, the majority of the inmates suffered from a condition known as beriberi. And some of the inmates actually died from this disease. As an officer that was part of the kitchen, you must have been aware that the food was responsible for the sickness that was happening at Mile 2. Did you do anything about it?
Try my best.
Yes, I also tried my best.
Because time bobu ñu ngi don di toga mbahal Fridays.
At that time, on Fridays, we used to cook what is mbahal.
Time bobu mbahal bobu almost kenn du ko day lek.
At that time, that mbahal, nobody eats it.
Man mako ton ma def ko domoda jin.
Then I turned the system. Instead of mbahal, I turned it so that they can cook granite stew with fish.
The domoda.
Domoda, du moy mafe gerte.
Mafe gerte.
Yeah, that's groundnut stew.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a mix on the interpretation. Okay.
Monday.
Mondays,
dañ daan togga benn cini diwtiir.
we used to cook benachin, palm oil benachin.
Boobu tamit duñ ko doon di lekk.
And that one also at that time, they don't eat it.
Man maa ko ci ñu def ko ciw diwtiir.
I changed it to palm oil stew.
Okay.
Was it, sorry, my apologies, I just wanted to ask, was it the same rations that were used to cook this new diet that you introduced?
Ndax benn façon dundu bi nga xam ne moom lañ daan def moom nga jël rek def ko façon togga bi nga soppali ni.
Because duma am leneen loo xam ne mun naa ko toggal gaay gannaaw loolu.
Yes, because at that time, I will not have anything else to cook except the supply that comes in. That's what I change to cook these new types of food.
So in essence, if you're using the same quantity of food to cook a different soup, nothing actually changed.
Bon dafa melni bo daan jël benn façon comme renda yi ak yooyu nga wécci togga bi dafa melni dara soppeeku ci woon.
Lekka bi moom supply bi moom soppeeku wu doon. Togga bi moo change.
What happened is that the supply didn't change. It is just the way of cooking and what is cooked which I decided to change.
So you succeeded in changing what was in place?
Bon dafa melni daal gannaaw gi far nga soppali li nga xam ne moom lañ daan lekk bés boobu.
But the quality remains the same?
Waaye daal ni meloon yëpp benn la.
Well, the farm no, because of supply be more nothing now why high protein bitam contribute na a lot.
Yes, it didn't change because it is the same supply that continued to come in. But the high protein was being taken out of it, which contributed a lot to it.
Because lolu topanako pour ñeu am special supply for the high protein wante stores luñ dé wax moy né ñom tamit dañ leen dé audit amuñ menu bo xamna ni dafa include high protein fofu kon duñ mëna supply high protein diet.
Well, I tried to change the whole system of the food. But what the people tell me who are in the stores, they said that as far as the same supply is coming, nothing can change. I wanted the system to bring in supplies, extra supplies for the high protein food, but they said that is not possible. So it has to be taken from the normal supplies. This is why all that problem was occurring.
Between 2005 to 2006, you were still in the kitchen, correct?
Digante 2005 be 2006 yaa ngi woon ba léegi ci waañ wi.
Waaw maa ngi woon ci waañ wi.
Yes, I was still at the kitchen.
We've received evidence that in between that period,
jot nañ fi firnde yoo xam ne wax nañ ne ci jamono boobu.
The prison diet suddenly changed.
Li nga xam ne mooy lekk wiñ daan def foofu dafa jékki-jékki rek soppeeku.
On a particular day.
Ci ay bés.
And prisoners had a lot of meat on their bowl for that particular day.
Bés boobu ñi nga xam ne ñoo tëdd ci kaso bi amoon nañ yàpp bu bari ci bés boobu.
What can you tell us about the cow meat that was fed to prisoners on one particular day?
Loo ñu mun a wax ci nag booba nga xam ne amoon na bés bu ñëwoon indi ko foofu ci kaso bi toggal leen ko.
Okay, nag boobu moom man tamit maa ngi ko dégg daal because boobu dafa tombé weekend.
Well, about that cow, I've heard about it because it coincided with a weekend.
Okay, man time boobu duma dee liggéey weekend.
At that time, I don't work during weekends.
Waaye lu ma dégg ñu ne David moo call driver bu ñoo wax Salif waaye ñaari Salif ñoo fa nekk nag.
What I heard was that David called a driver called Salif, but there were two Salifs at the prison at the time who were drivers.
Salifu Jammeh, Salifu Jaaju.
You have Salifu Jammeh and Salifu Jaaju.
Kenn si ñoom ñu ne moom la David call mu dem jëli nag bi war airport.
It was one of the two Salifs that David called for the person to go and pick up that cow from somewhere around the airport. What I heard about that cow was that it was knocked down by a vehicle. So after this cow was brought into the prison, It was that time that they decided to slaughter, they decided to cook it for the prisoners.
Okay. After Lolo, deguma Romo de Wanbe Musa Suso amfa problem dal buko police. Ona amna bugum bindon. Sila degana Romo bi gana jok ne wa nagbu dela won.
There were rumors about the cow. But when somebody called Musa Suso decided to write a book about this cow, that was the time it became a police case. And that was the time when these rumors became ripe about the cow meat.
Sorry, I just need a clarification. Did you say Musa wrote a book?
Dama buga leral fofu ndax da nga wax ne Musa dafa am book bu bindon.
Waaw ñu la Musa daf doon am book bu mu doon binda. Xam naa da anything that will happen ci prison the time boobu rek daf ko di binda.
So he was writing in a book and not necessarily wrote a book.
Dafa mel ni daf doon di binda ci ay kayit waaye nekkut ne dafa jagar téere boppam book pour lolu.
Comme diary.
No, comme diary la woon rek ci moom nekkoon ne buggi comme binda buggi about prisons also.
Yeah, it was some sort of a diary, but it was not a complete book that he wrote about the incident.
So he was writing a diary about what was happening daily at the prisons, correct?
Mel ni daf doon binda rek diary di binda bor bu set rek li xew ci prison bi.
Loolu orun ma de waa dégg naa daal book am na book boo xam ne ni boobu la yóbbu woon ba si wala time boobu benn mooy IG loolu la ay benn yóbbu si président bi moo tax moo caution dismissal yi David. Waaye loolu 96 la de.
I was not sure whether it was in 96, but I heard that there were rumors that Musa wrote a book which he took to the IG, who was Ben. And it was Ben who took this document to the president, which resulted in the dismissal of David at the time from the prisons.
The evidence we receive is that this incident happened between 2005 to 2006.
Liñ ci jot nak ci xibaar mooy ne lii mu ngi xewoon diggante 2005 ak 2006.
Waaw mun naa nekk 2005 and 6 wante David fana daxam bi daal dafa waroon dafa nekk daal around 2007. If I could remember.
Yeah, it could be around 2005 to 2006, but if I can remember properly, David's dismissal took place in 2007.
Did you hear of what happened as a result of prisoners consuming this poisonous cow?
Gannaaw boo xamee ne nag prisoner yi lekk nañ nag yàppi nag boobu nga xam ne daf leen sonnaloon ndax amoon nga lan moo xew gannaaw bi.
Duma dégg rek am na ñu si dee waaye man mënuma point out kenn diw moo si dee de dégg loolu rek laa dégg nag.
Yeah, I heard that some people died after eating that meat, but I cannot point to anybody saying that so and so died because of eating that meat. I just heard the rumor.
Did you hear of anyone getting sick?
Ndax déggoon nga ci nag kenn koo xam ne feebar na ci.
Feebar ak dee moom dégg naa ko si moom.
Yes, I've heard people who were sick and I've heard people who died. Yes, but I heard that.
What can you tell us about the type of detainees that were at Mile 2 at that time?
Loo ñu mun a wax nag ci ñi nga xam ne jamono jooju ñu ngi leen jàppoon ci kaso bi Mile 2.
Detainees yi amoon nañ fa army, police ak other civilians yoo xam ne dañ leen detain foofu.
Yeah, detainees were there. People from the army, police, and some civilians were detained at Mile 2.
Can you tell us how these detainees are usually brought at Mile 2?
ñooñu nga xam ne ñoom lañ daan indi pour teg leen fa ndax ñu mun a wax naka lañ leen daan indi.
Detainees yu mel ni army yi moom lu gën a bari seen moromi army yi ñoo leen daan di escort asi leen.
Well, the detainees from the army are usually brought in by their army colleagues who bring them to the prisons for their detention.
You handcuff them.
And when they are brought in, they are always in handcuffs.
Escort them ak fetels.
And they are always escorted with arms.
How about the civilians?
Naka ñi nga xam ne ay civilian lañ nag.
Civilian yi tam am na ñoo xam ne ni NIA ñoo leen di asi yenn sa am na ñoo xam ne ni tam army yi ñoo leen di asi.
The civilians, yes, sometimes they are brought in by the NIA, but some were brought in there by the army.
Do you know which branch of the army usually bring these detainees?
Am nga ban banxaas ci wàlli soldaar gi ñoo daan faral di indi ñooñu ñu la faan daan teg.
black see.
Sometimes you see the military who usually wore the black uniforms.
Normal army uniforms in Scotland.
Sometimes those who escort these detainees wear normal military or soldiers' uniforms.
These escorts, do they have a particular name that they're referred to?
Ñooñu nga xam ne ñoo leen daan gunge si na am na tur buñ leen daan ooyee.
Repeat that question.
The escorts of the detainees.
Detainee yooyu ñi ñoo wax detainee buñ leen daan indi ñi leen daan gunge si ndax am na tur buñ leen daan ooyee.
Sometimes I hear from people talking that these people, in most of the cases, are brought into the prison there by people called junglers.
Can you tell us if you were able to identify any particular jungler that will bring in detainees?
Ndax ñooñu nga xam ne ñu ngi leen daan ooyee jongula ndax di ñu mun a wax kenn koo xam ne mënoon nga leen cee xàmmee.
Dëgg man xaw ma nag ñoom seen tur yi.
Truly speaking, I don't know their names.
Well, so sometimes accent black mun nañ leen a identify ne ñi ay ñooy jongola si daal.
Well, but sometimes when they come wearing their black uniforms, you can clearly see that these are the people called the junglers.
You told us that some of these detainees are usually brought in cuffs.
Wax nga nag ne buñ leen daan indi foofu dañ daan ceene seen loxo yi.
For how long do they remain in these cuffs?
Ci biir ceene boobu yan àpp lañ ci daan nekk ci biir ceene bi.
Loolu moom amut limite des na si type yi gars yi nuñ leen assee rek because léegoo-léeg da nga dégg ñu bàyyi leen ak seen handcuff yi noonu yow ñoom buñ leen assee yow bindi prison officer ñeme ñu loo génnee seen handcuff yi kanaa xañ na suñoo dem sangu buñ ñëwaatee nga delloo leen seen handcuff yi ba ñoom seen boppa ñu ne la time sangam mun leen la bàyyi ñuy am rest.
Well, that has no time to remove the cuffs. Sometimes when these people are brought in, the escorts who brought them will tell you, don't remove their handcuffs, except when they are going to take bath. And sometimes they will tell you, okay, they remove their handcuffs during their rest time. But mostly, when they are brought in, the prison officers don't get the daring mind to remove these handcuffs from them without orders.
And where are these detainees usually kept?
Buñ leen indi waan nag fan lañ leen daan faral di denca.
Maximum security wing.
They are taken to the maximum security wing.
Who was in charge of the maximum security wing at that time?
Kan mooy ki nga xam ne daal moo daan saytu maximum security wing bi nga wax ni.
Maximum security wing bi ñu bari mount nañ ko because lu mel ni Thomas Jaju.
Well, as for the maximum security wing, many people went through there who were responsible, like somebody called Thomas Jaju.
Lamin Fall.
Lamin Fall was also once in charge.
Man mismo bopa musnafa in charge.
Myself, I also once was in charge at that place.
Come Ibrahim Tiana, Mam Tamit Musnafa in charge.
Somebody also called Ibrahim Tiana was also at one time in charge.
Just for me,
just to be able to name a few, but I know there are more than the people I named.
You mentioned that the detainees are usually not under your supervision.
Wax nga fi nag ne ñooñu nga xam ne ñooy détenu yooyu ñu daan indi duñ daan nekk ci sa ron pour nga garder leen.
What role do you usually play at the maximum security wing?
Yow lan mooy woon sa taxawaay foofu ci place bi ñoo wax maximum security wing.
Maximum security wing bi ñun ñu ngi fa woon daal pour observation.
At the maximum security wing, we were just there as observers. We are just there to observe what's going on.
Because su nekkee ne prisoner feebar na fa lu ñoo def ñu report si David
Well, if a prisoner gets sick there, what we can do is to report the matter to David.
David Moron or from the time bobu ñu wax jagay fatena turam de mo nekkon ami sen in charge fofu.
Well, at that time, after the report is given to David, if I can remember properly, there was somebody called Jagaid. I cannot remember properly, but he's the person who David will call.
ñom la ñoo su nekké né ñom buga nañ pour yobu ko hospital ñu génné ko ñom ñoy de assistant moto ñu ab ko fofu bolé ko ay prison officer ñu escort ko mu dem l'hôpital.
This Jagaid who was there representing the army is usually called by David when somebody is reported sick, and they usually bring their own vehicle to take this person to the hospital if they allow to leave the individual to go to the hospital.
We have received evidence that detainees in most cases are denied access to medical treatment.
Dégg nañ fi tamit ne ñooñu nga xam ne ñoom leen daan indi di leen fa teg dañ leen daan tere pour ñu mun a faju.
What can you tell us about that?
am na ñoo xam ne ni dañ leen daan tere pour ñu dem faju waaye mun naa fàttale ko lu mel ni Ablaye Kujabi.
Yes, there were people who were denied medical treatment. I can remember somebody's case called Abdullah Kujabi.
Ablaye Kujabi asi woon nañ ko foofu tëddal ko xam naa ne toccoo nañ ko tocco yu am doole.
Abdullah Kujabi was brought in there and he was an inmate there, and I know he was severely tortured. He was a detainee.
Because round now for several occasions, why
I have gone around that place several occasions, but whenever I come around, the way I left him lying down, it is always the same position how I always find him.
I
called somebody called Waf Kujabi. He was at that time a medic.
Check affaire apply Kujabi because kinum tede ni dal since Rob all the time why non rekla fek community.
I called Waf Kujabi and told him to come and check this man. I told Waf that this man, since they brought him in, the way he was lying down has been the same position he's always lying down in. So come and check him up. I can remember when Waf came in and looked at the individual, he cried. I didn't know exactly, but I heard that it was the man was a relative. They were related somehow. I don't know. They said whether the man was a stepfather to Waf. So, that was the time when we decided and said, let's go and report this matter to David.
Now, David or Jagaid, I don't know, it's from State House.
And that's the time when David called Jagaid. And Jagaid said he called somebody at the State House, whether it was Sering Modu, I wasn't sure.
That's
the time when Ablai Kujabi was taken to the hospital. If I can remember, he was admitted at the private block.
Are you telling us that David Kohli had to seek for permission from State House before Ablai Kujabi was taken for medical treatment?
Bondang ñu bëgga wax ne David Kohli fokk mu laajte ndigal lu ko State House bala ñu yóbbu Ablai Kujabi lopitaan.
Bobu mom very well fokk time bobu ñoñu kuñ ci bëgga laal pour yóbbu la fenn mom su nekké rek hospital la mom fokk mu jël permission suñ d'accord lool la suñ d'accord ñu bayé ko.
That was exactly how things were. Because those detainees, if you want to take anybody out for anything, you have to seek permission. But if the permission is denied, you have to leave it at that.
Do you know where Abdullah Kujabi was tortured?
Xam nga Abdullah Kujabi fan lañ ko doon def metital yoyu?
Xawma exactly fan la way xam nga ñoñu guddi lañ dé ñew yeen ñu génné borom yobbu.
Well,
ñu délo ci wat.
I don't know exactly where, because usually these people are brought in at night, and when they want to take them away also, they come for them and go away with them.
So it was quite common for detainees to be taken out at night and tortured and brought back again. Is that what you're telling us?
Kon daal loolu moo fa daan dox dañoo ñëw jël leen guddi yóbbu leen métital leen door leen a delloo si waat.
waaw loolu kay moom am na.
Yes, that was what was happening there at the time.
What can you tell us about the activities of the NIA at the prisons?
Lan nga ñu mun a wax ci yëngu-yëngu NIA ci biir prison foofu?
NIA itam dañ dee ñëw jël si gën a bari détenu si yóbbu leen.
Well, the NIA...
dañ dee ànd ak army yi ni sax escort.
NIA usually come there and take the detainees away, and usually they come with escort who are army, members of the army come with them as escort, and these detainees are taken away.
In any of those occasions where the NIA will come and take detainees, did you recognize anyone from them?
Ndax am na benn jamono boo xam ne NIA yi ñi fay ñëw di jël si ñooñu am na benn jamono joo xam ne xàmmee nga ci ñen.
Omar Cham moom xamoon naa ko si moom.
Well, I know one Omar Cham was among them.
benn waay bu ñu doon wax Lamin Dabo.
Somebody also called Lamin Dabo.
Say Lamin or Nani?
Lamin.
Lamin.
Can you tell us who they picked up?
Di ñëw nax ba ñëwee kan lañ jëloon yóbbu.
ñoom tamit daanaka ñoo doon gën a ñëw foofu frequently daal di jël di yóbbu de kii mënuma wax nag nangami nit lañ jël waaye ñoom daal xàmmee naa leen ne because time boobu bi ma nekk opération su dañ daan ñëw si man foofu maa si ñoom comme lu mel ni Père Mendine and the like.
Well, when I was at
jël si nañ leen foofu daal.
When I was at the operations, they've been coming there frequently to pick detainees and take them away. Like people like Per Mendy, they usually come and pick detainees there and take them away. As I said, somebody called Per Mendy was one of the detainees picked and taken away.
And when they take them and bring them back, in what condition will they bring them back in?
Jamono buñ leen jël si waat nag ba yóbbu leen suñ leen delloo si waatee naka lañ dee mel ci yan anam lañ dee tollu.
lu mel ni Père Mendy moom tamit moom si làmmiñam wax na ma ne biñ leen yóbboo NIA dóor nañ leen foofu dóor yoo xam ne ba dañ ko doon di mass koren gannaawam bi nii man suma boppam maa doon order kii ndox bu tànga président ñëw di ko busal.
Well, people like Per Mendy, they themselves told me that, as Per himself narrated his problem to me, when they are taken away, they are mercilessly tortured and returned. Somebody like Per Mendy, he said sometimes they will use electric wires on their body. And if you look at his back, I was the person who was calling for people to bring in warm water so that I can massage his back for him.
It was
the prisoners who were preparing warm water and tried to massage his back. Yes, I can remember that.
Do you know if the NIA had any legal mandate to take prisoners from Maltu prisons and torture them and bring them back?
Ndax xam nga na NIA loi jox na leen doole pour ñuy ñëw di jël foofu ay prisoners di leen yóbbu di leen mitital di leen delloosi waat.
Xam nga bu nekkee ne loi la ñoo toppa wante time boobu du loi doole moo doon di dox.
Well, at that time, there was no law. These people were just doing what they wanted or what they were ordered from the top. But it was not part of the law for them to act in that way.
You knowing that it was illegal for them to act that way?
Yow xamoon nga ne àndutoon ak loi pour ñuy def façon jëfin yooyu.
Did you ever resist when they came to pick up a prisoner?
Ndax amoon na benn jamono joo xam ne ñëwoon nañ pour yóbbu prisoner nga bañ.
Foofu moom boo ko defee xam nga ne yow boo oytu that would be the end of your life or that is the end of your service.
Well, if anybody resists that, be sure that it might be at the end of your life, and if you are lucky, it might be the end of your service.
You also knew that it was unlawful for you to also allow them to pick up prisoners and take.
Te xamoon nga tamit ne ànduta loi pour nga nangul leen ñoom ñu ñëw rek jël prisoner rek yóbbu.
Di nga ko xam waaye ndax yow di nga ñeme ña bañ.
Well, it is known to the prison officer, but whether you have the daring mind to refuse.
So you're telling us that you were operating under the atmosphere of fear?
Bon dafa melni yow yeen doon liggéey dal ci ragal.
More than the word.
More than the word fear.
What can you tell us about the case of Kanyiba Kanyi and others?
Lo ñu mëna wax nak ci mbiri ku ñoo wax Kanyiba Kanyi ak ñeneen.
Kanyiba Kanyi mun naa remember ne asiwoon nañ ko ci prisons bi after ñu jëlaat ko foofu.
I can remember that Kanyiba Kanyi was brought to the prisons, but later on they came for him and took him away.
Na dégg ne moom tam rey nañ ko na.
And it was after that I heard that he was killed.
Who were the people that came for him?
Ñan ñoo ko jël ci woon?
Loolu moom duma ko mën a wax unless kana book bu nga receipt books yu nga xam ne ni soo asee prisoner dinañ la ko bindal soo receive prisoner tamit dinañ jël sa name.
I cannot say who were the people who came for him unless we check the receipt books, because if you bring somebody there is a receipt that they will prepare and give the escorts. And if they take away somebody also, a receipt is prepared and give it to the people. So if you check in those books, somebody can determine who were the people who came for him there.
And in most cases, both would have the neck come goody down.
And in most cases, that happens at night when they come to pick up detainees.
If they come to pick up the detainees, do you usually collect their names and their credentials on the receipt books?
Buñ ñëwé jël ci prisoner yoyu ndax di ngeen dé binda seen tour binda it mahama bi ñu yoré ci seen receipt book yoyu.
Amna ñoo xamné né su ñëwé seen kébé dañ ko binda seen interview ak ku nga xamné the most senior man waye yenn ay sax so leen ko laajé duñ la nango wax.
Well, sometimes when they come to pick up these detainees, you can get their names. Mostly there's the most senior man among them. But sometimes when they come, if you ask them, they don't even respond to your question.
Who was Kanyiba Kanyi?
Kan moy won Kanyiba Kanyi momu?
Kanyiba Kanyi de dégana né just dañ ko arrest on asiko fo way xawma ko na man in passing ni way turam mom dég xamna ko gis na ko ni de way xawma na ban ki la won.
Well, Kanyiba Kanyi, I heard that he was arrested and brought to the prison. I personally saw him, but I don't know what kind of a person he was or who he was. I saw him personally, but apart from that, I don't know anything else about him.
And which security operatives collected him?
Mom Kanyiba Kanyi momu ñan ñoko jël ci won ci ñi nga xamné ñoo liggéey ci wali karangé gi.
Biñ ko jël ci man fekkut ma fofu de because man comme suñ ko suñ dé jël ci ñooñu lu gëna bari guddi la dé nek.
I was not there when they came to pick him up, because usually when they come to pick up these detainees, it happens at night.
As the acting director of operations,
Comme yow ya jamono ji nga nek acting director bu operation.
That was in 2010, correct?
Bobu atum 2010 la won non la.
Wow, time bu ma nek security wing lay wax affaire ki mom Kanyiba Kanyi.
Yes, but it was when I was at the security wing, that's the time when Kanyiba Kanyi's incident took place.
That was in 2006, correct?
No, 2006 la won.
Well, if I could remember around that 2006
Yes.
that line.
If I can remember properly, that was around 2006.
Was there any instance where the authorities at Mile 2 questioned inmates being brought in, or detainees being brought in at Mile 2 at odd hours and being taken out at odd hours?
Ndax amna ben jamono jo xamne nak kilifa yoy nga xamne ñom ñoo jité fofu ci Mile 2 prison jamono jo xamne ñom laajte nañ lan motax ñuy ñew di jël prisoner ay haaji guddi wala di len delo ci waat ay haaji guddi.
So amé tamit déguma ko.
Well, even if it did happen, I've never heard about it.
Can you tell us about the maltreatment of prisoners and prison officers?
Ding ñu mëna wax nak anam yi nga xamne ñu ko daan jëflante ak ñiñ téé ci kasso bi ak ña fa liggéey yo xamne daal jaaduwut.
Mën naa remember affaire Moussa Suso torture buñ ko defoon foofu because ñu ne fa amoon mobile.
I can remember Musa Suso, the incident that happened to him. They said he had a mobile, and that was reason he was tortured.
Boobu dañoo search cells yi gis nañ mobile bi waaye SIM card nekkut fa woon by then.
Well, when they came in to search the cells, they found a mobile there, but there was no SIM card inside the mobile.
Then biñ ko yóbbule David mu ne nañ dem na gaay comme Nuha Dabo na oo recruits yi.
Well, when the case was taken to David, he said, let Nuha Dabo call the recruits.
Yóbbu ko si gannaaw mu wax SIM card bi fan la nekk.
Let them take him behind and ask him where the SIM card was.
Foofu moom dóor nañ ko man maa ngi taxaw loolu witness naa ko.
Yes, there, that day he was beaten when I was standing there. I witnessed that one.
Time boobu ndeke Musa xaw ma naa dafa seexoon SIM card bi ci gémmiñam bi I don't know waaye SIM card bi foofu after Salifu Jaaju.
Well, demal.
moom moo demaat foofu fu gaa yi doon dóor Musa ni kisi foofu ba for SIM card bi asi ko.
Well, it was after Musa Suso was beaten, because during the initial search, they couldn't find the SIM card. But after he was beaten, it was Salifu Jaju who went back to the place where he was tortured, and when he turned around the sand and checked, that was the time when he found the SIM card there and brought it back.
Are you telling us that Musa Suso's beating was ordered by David Colley?
Dang ñu bëgg wax ne door yiñ door Musa Suso ndigal la ngi bayé ko ci David Colley.
Loolu moom si David la jógee.
Yeah, that one came from David.
And the recruits are the ones that carried out the beating.
Te recruit yi mooy ñi jël liggéey es ñoom ñoo doon def door yooyu.
Waaw loolu moom am na.
Yes, that's something which happened.
And who was in charge of these recruits?
Kan moo jiite woon recruit yooyu?
Time boobu Nuha moo nekkoon moo leen doon train moo doon seen instructor daal. Nuha Dabo.
At that time, Nuha Dabo was responsible for them. In fact, he was the guy who was training these recruits.
Who were the senior officers present when Musa Suso was being beaten?
Ñan ñooy kilifa yi liggéey foofu yoo xam ne ñoom ñu ngi teewoon bi ñoo door Musa Suso.
Man moom maa ngi fa woon.
I was there personally.
Naa fàttalewu fa na Salifu Jaaju moomu tamit mu ngi fa woon.
Salifu Jaju was also present.
Wante yàgg na nag mënuma recall ñëpp daal. Waaye xam na am na ñeneen ñu fa nekkoon tamit na.
It was quite a long time it was quite a long time. That's why I cannot recall the names of others, but others were also present.
Go on.
SIM card boobu Salifu bi mu ko foree mu asi ko David daf ko booleeg Musa ñu yóbbu ko naa ne police.
When Salifu Jaju brought the SIM card, if I can remember, David took the SIM card and gave it back to Salifu and Musa Suso. They were taken to the police.
Apart from Musa Suso's issue,
gannaaw xew-xew boobu dal Musa Suso,
did you witness any other incident where prison officers tortured prisoners?
am na beneen xew-xew boo xam ne yow mi sa boppa seede nga ko nga xam ne liggéeykat yi nekk ci kaso bi ñu ngi doon mitital ñañ fa tëj.
Si lu ma fàttaleku daal moom mun naa fàttaleku boobu de.
Well, as far as I can remember, this is one I can remember.
Thank you very much. What can you tell us about the maltreatment of prison officers?
loo ñu mun a wax nag ci ñi nga xam ne ñooy liggéey ci seen bopp ci kaso bi foofu niñ leen daan def te jaaduwul.
waaw am na ñoo xam ne ni man even suma jarbaat sax detain nañ ko foofu ci prison.
Yes, it happens. Even my own nephew was detained in the prisons there.
Go Cheikh Diouf.
He's called Cheikh Diouf.
On, please.
Bobu time anti-rose la.
It was the time of anti-rose.
Na waxoon naa mu ne pour ñu ku nekk daal mu binda loo xam ne ni will be the way forward for the prisons.
I can remember the order was given for everybody to write down what will be the way forward for the prisons.
Mun naa fàttale ku si dafa bindoo mu ne office amut senior officers yaa ngeen nekk di looy roundabout ci biir kaso bi affaire yi wax yooyu daal la waxoon. Antiros mu ne lu tax Cheikh bind loolu. daf ko sabotage àndalaay.
Okay, when it was said that let people write what will be the way forward for the prisons, I can remember Sheikh Yuf wrote that there was no office for some senior officers in the prisons. They just they used to be loitering about the prisons there, but they don't have permanent offices where they can sit. And that's what Sheikh Yuf wrote. And because of that, the order was given for him to be detained.
Am na yeneen officer yoo xam ne léegoo-léeg ñu am escape wala xañ na David jotee ak ñoom. ñu alej leen dara ñu detain leen am na fa moom.
Sometimes.
Vraiment nag ñu bari moom mooy suma dina nekk kii moom. waaye loolu moom am na.
Yes, sometimes if a prisoner escapes, those who are responsible for the escaped prisoner are detained. And some prison officers are also detained. It happens there. As far as I can remember, things like that used to happen in the prison there.
I've done course. I'm not official. You have ne bu ñu amee escape sax ñoom tam dañ dee awal like continue like that.
Like if some prison officers are responsible for a prisoner who escapes, some prison officers don't even return. They will also run away as the escapee. They will also go away. They won't return back.
Is the normal procedure followed before these officers are detained at the prisons?
Ndax officer yooyu balaa ñu leen dee jël di leen tëj ci kaso bi foofu ndax dina ñuy jaar ci yoon yi nga xam ne foofu lañ war a jaar.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So the officers are arbitrarily detained without being charged?
Bon dañ leen a jël rek teg leen benn place te duñ leen charge.
waaw am na waaw dañ leen di jël noonu rek roof si biir kii bi rek aja yóbbu leen ko confinement wala yóbbu leen ko nga dégg.
Yeah, it happens like that. They will just give orders arbitrarily, take this person to confined or take them to remand. This happens.
And this is done at whose request?
Loolu nag buñ ko def ci ndigali kan lay doon.
Foofu kenn do am doole pour detain prisoner gannaaw director bi ci boppam lu mel ni David.
Well, nobody has the authority to give orders to detain officers except the director. Just like my nephew, the order was given by Auntie Rose to detain him.
For how long was your nephew detained?
Sa jarbaat bi moom ban appel lañ ko fa tegoon?
Suma fatale ko am na for 2 weeks daal.
If I can remember, he spent 2 weeks in detention.
Can you recall any of the names of the other officers that were detained at Mile 2 prisons?
Mun nga fàttale ko turi kenn koo xam ne mu ngi doon liggéey ci kaso ba pare ñu tëj ko fa.
Mun naa fàttale ko lu mel ni Tamsir Jaw.
I can remember somebody called Tamsir Jaw.
Alpha Seni Jammeh tam déggoon naa ko fa waaye kooku moom dañ doon wax ñu ne xaw executive order la I don't know.
If I can remember also, I had something like Tamsir Jammeh, huh? Alfuseni Jammeh. But that one, I think I had that it was on executive orders.
Why bari na fa kay ñoo xam ne ni detain nañ leen kala mun leen ñàkkale naa mun a fàttale ko waaye bari na fa moom.
But there were many people who were detained in that way. I cannot just remember their names, but a lot of people were detained there on orders like that.
Briefly, while you were acting director of operations,
ci tënk rek jamono ji nga xamee ne yaa ngi doon xaarandi ci place director of operation.
You also ran into a little bit of a difficulty at prisons.
Amoon na jafe-jafe tuuti yoo xam ne amoon nga ko foofu ci prison bi.
Can you briefly tell us about that?
ci tënk rek di ñu mun a wax naka la demee.
Okay.
Mr. Ceesay, are you okay? Mr. Chairman, the witness is requesting for a few minutes. Mr. Chairman, I'll humbly request for about 20 minutes, at least, or 15, just to finish up with the witness, and we can go on a break.
Fine, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have the witness in, please? Thank you very much, Mr. Ceesay, for coming back.
Jërëjëf Mr. Ceesay li nga dellu si waat.
Just before we go into the main issue,
balaa ñoo dugga ci mbir mi dëgga
I'd like to ask, who was the director of prisons at the time you had the problem?
dama la bëgg a laaj rek kan moo nekkoon director prisons jamono ji nga am jafe-jafe yooyu.
David Colley moo nekkoon director general foofu.
David Colley was the Director General at that time.
And as at that time, Ensa Baji was also detained in prisons, correct?
Jamono boobu tam Ensa Baji ñu ngi ko téye foofu ci kaso bi.
Waaw time boobu ñu ngi ko detained foofu.
Yes, he was a detainee at that time in the prisons.
Can you please tell us, like, briefly what happened, what led to you being charged?
Ndax di ñu mun a wax lana waraloon bañ charge la lu xewoon.
Time boobu noonu maa ngi woon suma office.
At that time, I was in my office.
Si bunta bi noonu rek maa ngi taxaw.
At the door, that's where I was standing.
Ablay Bojang, official on the security wing.
Ablai Bojang was an officer at the security wing.
Munyo munema Soriba Konde ak Ensa Baji, then they neka di hulo.
He came and told me that Soriba Konde and Esa Baji are always quarreling.
Soriba daf ko de provoke nanko ana hama suñ halis bi dal.
Soriba used to provoke him and tell him, where is our money?
Then them to an extent that they saga wante Sunday.
They will go to the extent of cursing each other's parents.
So at that time, there was bad blood between Soriba and Ensa. What role did you play as the acting director of operations to quell the situation?
Director of operation.
Acting commissioner of operation.
Acting commissioner of operations.
My apologies, I was just consulting with lead counsel. Can you repeat your answer?
Lan nga ci defon comme ka yow ya nekkon acting director operation.
Ablay Bojang mu ngi taxaw, Dudu Touré mu ngi taxaw.
Ablai Bojang was standing there. Dudu Touré was there too.
Mane Ablay address len ñom ñaar ñep.
I told Ablai to address the two of them. If after their intervention and they discover who was the offender, let that offender be sealed.
Okay, Ablai mudem.
Ablai went.
Tiana mu ñew affaire complain affaire Lang Tombong mom tamit.
Tiana came and complained about Lang Tombong.
Mu ne Lang Tombong ne daf ma bëgg gis.
And said that Lang Tombong said he wants to see me.
Pour gatal ko jarul sa may narrate affaire Lang lu mo way gisé ndak Lang address situation bobu.
Not to prolong the affair. What he told me, I went and saw Lang Tombong and we solved that matter.
Then mané hence report nañ ma affaire Soriba ak Ensa Baji hara fofu tam ma dem address ko because it's my duty hence wax nañ mako.
Then I said, let me go and see Soriba Konde and Esa Baji as far as their problem was reported to me.
Soriba mu ngi tok ak other prisoners.
I found Soriba sitting down with other prisoners.
Jox na len loxo ma nuyu len ñom ñep.
I came and shook hands with all of them, greeted all of them.
Du proper ma ñew mu ne ko Ablay Bojang mu ne nangam nangam.
It will not be proper for me to just come and said Ablay Bojang said so and so and so. I said, Soriba, he said yes. I told him, don't offend anybody here. Soriba got up and said to me, whom did I offend? Well, the way he was talking to me, it looked that he was hoping on something. He was, hoping to be aided by something. I told him, if you offend anybody here, we will put you under seal. Then Soriba got up and started saying, seal me, seal me, seal me.
Then Tiana Munama boss by after my address.
Then Tiana told me, well, let's go. Then afterwards, I'll address this thing. I left and went out.
The following week, Wednesday.
The following week on a Wednesday.
Around after 2,
around after 2, I prayed the 2 o'clock prayers afterwards.
Manga called NIA dañ la soxla.
Manga called me and told me that the NIA want to see you.
Ma ñew fekka moy Omar Cham because mo de ñew fofu dal frequently time.
When I came, I found Omar Cham there because he was somebody who frequently comes to the prison.
Munema dañ la soxla NIA.
He said to me, you are wanted at the NIA.
Okay, konara ma inform David.
Then I said, okay, let me inform David that I am wanted at the NIA. Then I went, informed David about it, then I came out. I also came and saw Kemeseng also coming out of the security wing.
Then Omar
told me, let's go. We boarded the vehicle.
Sorry, who was Kemeseng?
Kemeseng prison official.
MSM Koli was also a prison officer.
mu ngi woon si security wing bi foofu.
He was at the security wing at that time.
Go on.
ñu egg NIA.
When we went and arrived at the NIA office,
mu ne ma soo amee téere ngeen hand over ko ak seen mobile yi.
then that's the time I was told that if you have any jujus and your mobiles, you have to hand them over.
Then mu ne ma nañ dem ma topp ko ñu dem si benn story building foofu si kaw.
He told me, let's go. I followed him. We went upstairs to one story building there.
mun naa fa fàttaliku ne fekk naa fa Mbalo Job ak yeneen 2 or 3 guys there.
I can remember that we found Mbalo Job there, plus 2 to 3 other people.
Sort of a panel la nii daal.
It was some sort of a panel.
ñu ne bi ma toogee kii mu ne ma toogal ma toog.
When I arrived, they told me to sit down, then I sat down.
si la ma Omar Thiam mu ne ma dafa am koo xam ne ni mu ngi la moom yaa ngi ko de threaten si prison.
That's the time when Omar Cham told me that there's somebody who said that you always threaten him in the prison there.
dañ am information ne dafa am koo xam ne ni mu ne danga ko de threaten si prison.
He said they have information that somebody said I used to threaten him in the prison. I said no, I didn't threaten anybody in the prison. He said yes, there is somebody who used to threaten.
The whole issue.
I said, well, I didn't threaten anybody there. What I can say is that there is somebody called Soriba Konde. I addressed him and I left there afterwards.
Then munama okay, bindal funga joge sedeka funga deme school yo ak ban tribe nga.
That's the time he told me to write my name, write my village, and write where I went to school.
Okay, lan more help.
And what has happened?
I just want to ask you a question there. What was the essence of writing your tribe?
Initially, time bomb help.
Initially, I don't know what was going on.
But later
on, I came to find out why they asked me to write down my tribe.
Tell us about that.
Because you know man Esa Baji suma nijaay la Esa Baji mok suma yaay ñoo bokka.
They told me that because they said Esa Baji was my uncle because Esa was related to my mother.
Then man Esa Baji la doon di dimbale because of ñoom ñu ngi ci comme xeex daal seen diggante ñoom neen.
Because what they said was I was helping Esa Baji against Soriba because these two people, I was helping Esa Baji against other people there because as I was related to Esa.
What did Soriba have to do with all of these?
Soriba mom lum don ci li yeb.
Because more than witness against Esa Baji.
Because he was the witness against Esa Baji.
Mom dem na to an extent mu ne man depuis 97 mako escort mu ngi wax mu ne man mako bu nangu ben di ko use muy against Esa Baji.
Because he said since 1997 when I used to escort him, he was saying that let me not be somebody who will aid, he will stand against him in the case of Esa Baji.
What, can you please repeat what you said?
Mom mune 1997 mako escort dafa amone visit.
He said 1997 I escorted him because he had a visit.
Fofu la dega mu ngi wax affaire Esa Baji man depuis bobu la ko topana diko wax ne ko bum nangu ben use ko.
That was the time I heard him talking about Esa Baji. Then I said that let him not agree for anybody to use him.
Who was Ben at that time?
Ben Jame.
Ben Jame.
Lolo after my money on drug squad, most na nek IG from there, mo nek drug squad sen boss.
Ben was one time. Ben was one time IG Inspector General. Later he became head of the drug squad.
Help us understand the infight, because you said there was an infight between Ensa, Ben, and who else was involved in it, and how was this like?
wax ñu mbiri jotee bi nga xam ne moo nekkoon ci diggante Ben Essa ak ñeneen lan moo xewoon ci diggante bi jotee boobu lan la woon.
because suma dégg lu ñoo wax ñu ne Essa Badji lañ doon tuumal ne moom moo undermine Ben dismiss ko from IG.
What I heard was that it was Essa Badji who undermined Ben until Ben was dismissed as IG.
David tamit mu ngi am problem ak Ben.
And David also had a problem with Ben.
What was the role of the NIA in this dispute?
NIA ñoom jotee bi ñoom lan lañ ci doon.
ñoom lañ oo ñu la xam ne ñoom ñooy def seen investigation.
They were the people called. I thought that maybe they were told to investigate the matter.
Soriba Konde testified before this commission.
Soriba Konde moom ñëwoon na fii ci commission bi joxe fi seedeem.
He stated that he was asked to falsely accuse Ensa Badji.
Moom ci boppam wax na ne dañ ko waxloo pour moom mu tuumaal Ensa Badji.
Did this trial of Ensa Badji happen within this particular period of time that you were arrested and asked to give a statement at the NIA?
Atte bi nga xam ne moom lañ doon atte Ensa Badji nag ndax dafa daje woon ak yow jamono jiñ laa téye noonu di la yóbbu di la laaj foofu ci NIA.
ñuñ lañ caaj together boo gisee tey maa ngi taxaw fii pour clarifier affaire bi luñ ma doon wone over TV man tamit.
We were charged together in that case. And what hurt me was I was shown on TV with the others, which really hurt me. But I didn't do anything.
My apologies, Mr. Chairman. I'm just advised by the lead counsel that this will be a convenient time to go on break. Then when we resume, we'll wrap up with the witness.
Fine, that's all right. I thought the 15, 20 minutes that you needed was to wrap up. But if we need more time for that, we will take a 30-minute break and come back at 12:35.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.